my shorts.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Dave Lee Down Under podcast. I'm of course your host, Dave Lee, and this is episode number 58.
58.
I don't know what.
Don't
Wait,
even remember what my call is for that.
Wait, actually I think it's not 58, it's 59.
59, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. I had the wrong run sheet open. That's what happens when you take a month off the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that today.
Have you got your bingo call or have you forgotten it?
I've forgotten it.
Oh no. Let's leave that then. Of course, you can join us on the podcast every single Monday, except for the past, 5 or 6 Mondays. The podcast goes out on all the major podcasting platforms. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. The visual element is available on YouTube as well. Over on the podcast channel. That goes out 2 days earlier to Patreon supporters. This week, of course, we are sending the podcast out on a Friday, or I don't know, what is the day? I've completely lost time. Is it going to be going out on a Friday? Yes. I think so.
Yes.
It's that weird period between Christmas and New Year's where you don't quite know what the day is. Isn't it? So anyway, this episode is going out on Friday, and we're sending it out on both platforms simultaneously. How's that?
Ooh, bonus for some.
That's the first, yeah. You can find me over on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under, of course. I'm over on Twitter and Instagram. Letterboxd, there's links in the description of every single podcast. If you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email at daveleepod@gmail.com. And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, please leave a review and a rating.
Only good ones.
Only the good ones.
Hate bad ones.
Hey?
Bad ones are shit.
I know. They are shit. Well, there you go. We got through our intro. No, just wait for old mate Rick to figure out how to fade out the audio there.
It's pretty easy.
I can still hear it.
There we
go. It's gone now. That's it.
Yeah. There's going to be a few fuck ups today because I'm operating the board.
Oh my gosh! It's the first time we got old mate Rick. Of course, I'm over in the UK still. I've been here for over a month now, a month and a half.
Yeah, it's been about 7 weeks maybe.
Yeah. Here's a very British problem for you. I am sitting in my little study at the moment, which just so happens to be the boiler room. And so you might hear the boiler kick in the background every now and then.
It sounds like
it's
fun.
going off at the moment, actually. But it's not too loud. But sometimes
I can't hear it. I can't get it this end.
That's okay. I'm not literally like in an underground sort of
underground bunker with a boiler. And should have a boiler suit on and all that sort of shit.
Yeah. No, I'm in the study and there's just a boiler behind me. So there you go. So
yeah,
I've been away for a best part of a month and a half. Almost.
Hang on,
What?
I found it.
What?
59 Brighton Line.
Right,
Brighton
line on the train.
Must be.
There you go. One of the major lines over here in the UK. We are, of course, reading the. What's that?
That was pretty piss weak.
That was really piss weak. That wasn't worth revisiting.
No, it wasn't.
We So as I've been saying, I'm here in the UK. Been 7 weeks or so, about a month and a half. I've been over here almost 2 months. And we didn't mean to leave such a long gap between shows, but just been a matter of getting over here, getting set up. I felt like I lost 2 weeks coming over here as well.
You were jet lagged. You were jet lagged for a little while too, weren't you? That took.
I was jet lagged for like a week.
Yeah, took ages for you to acclimatise.
I just kept falling asleep at like 8 o'clock at night.
That's doing my trick.
That's the yeah. Well, that's the weirdest thing over here is that the sun goes down at 10 to 4 in the afternoon. We're used to it. 7, 8 o'clock at home. The sun will go down. Over here, no, 4, like bang on, 10 to 4 in the afternoon, And by like 7 or 8 o'clock, I'm like, fucking hell, I'm so tired. It must be like 12 o'clock. Look at my watch. It's like, no, I don't have a watch. Look at my phone. And it's like, oh my God, it's only 8 p.m. I'm falling asleep. But yeah, so the first week was just like, oh man, first couple of weeks. And then I felt like because I didn't really do much work when I got here for the first couple of weeks. And then I felt like I just like had to, there's all this stuff I had to catch up on. So I've lost, I felt like I lost 2 weeks worth of work. And then just had to catch up on it all over those last couple of weeks of the month. And now finally settling back in, take some time off over Christmas and New Year's. And finally found time to actually sit down and figure out how to do a podcast remotely.
Oh, well, we're trying to work out how to do it remotely.
So we're trying to do it. We've got old mate Rick over in Australia, of course. He's running the board. He's trying to figure out where all the special effects, the sound effects and stuff are.
Good luck with that too.
Very good. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm recording mine on my end, so I have a nice clean output. Hopefully it all syncs up okay. Otherwise I'll have to find a different way to do it. But anyway, that's where we are at the moment. So what we're doing today is we just wanted to do one, because I felt like we didn't properly close out the season, right?
No, that's right.
We kind of said, all right, I'm off. I'll see you in like 2 weeks' time. I'll be back. And I've been gone for like 7 weeks. And I felt I wanted to do a Christmas show, and then Christmas crept up on us really quickly. And I was working super hard on my Spider-Man Evolution video that I dropped.
Tom Spider-Man.
My Tom Spider-Man video. Yeah, I talked about Andrew Spider-Man. I talked about Toby Spider-Man. I talked about all the animated Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man, Paul Spider-Man, all of them. But yeah, I did that Spider-Man video, and I just like... we just didn't get time to do the Christmas. So we felt like, look, we got like 2 days left of the year. Let's get in one last show for 2021, round out that season on episode 59. Then we can come back next year, episode 60, and kick off 2022 in style. Hey?
Nice and fresh. Well, hopefully anyway.
Hopefully, yeah. But so what we're going to do is we're going to do this special show. This goes out to everyone on the same day. We're going to take another month off, but over that month, throughout January, I'll be loading like best of episodes. So we like the best of 2021 show. I'll probably do like 4 or 5 of them throughout the month. And then we'll be back, I think, what is the 7th of Feb? So the first Monday of February, we'll be back with the proper show.
Cool.
Ready to go for a new year.
Oh, yep. Big start to a new year. But you need that break.
Yeah.
You need that, a couple of weeks off over January to refresh and stop you from burning out and all that sort of shit,
Well, exactly right. Well, I feel like I got to... usually I take the whole of January off.
Yeah.
But this year, I feel like I'm just going to take this gap throughout Christmas off properly. There's like been a couple of things I've had to do. And then I'm just going to take it easy throughout. I'm still going to be doing work, maybe plan a few things for the year, but just take it a little bit easier. I won't be doing a Cartoon Evolution for January, so that takes a lot of like pressure off. I feel I can just kind of relax a little bit more for the month, and then we'll get back into everything in February. Evolutions, podcasts, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so just prepare shit and whatever and take it easy. Of course, you've got to spend some time with Alicia and her family and all that sort of stuff as well while you're there.
Yep, that's it. So she's got time off over Christmas, and I think she goes back on the 4th or something. So for the next few days, at least, I'm not doing anything after this podcast. That's it.
Good.
That's it.
Need that.
But yeah, it's been okay. It's been okay over here. I've been surprised.
Has it been really cold, or I don't think it has it? It's been fairly mild.
There have been a couple of days where it's been cold, but today is going to be something... What is today going to be? 15 degrees.
Jeez,
a lovely
really?
15 degrees Celsius. I'm looking at the window right now, and I see some blue sky peering through the clouds. And I would say it's probably the first time I've seen blue sky in about 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
So we're gonna head into town and just go for a nice little walk this afternoon, and maybe get something to eat for lunch and sit outside.
It'll be like a cool summer's day, wouldn't it?
15?
Oh yeah,
it'd be lovely.
So
but it's been it.
Go on.
No, you're right.
I was going to say it was we copped 37 here today, which is approximately 100 degrees in the old scale.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, so she was
Fahrenheit.
nice. She was nice. Yeah, she was nice and warm. Well, we say the old
go.
scale because we used to be Fahrenheit years and years when I was a kid. And now we're Celsius, so we always say, in the old scale. But of course, a lot of places still use Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So it has been okay. It's been what they're calling a mild winter. It's actually been it hasn't been incredibly cold for a lot of the time, which has been nice. COVID situation over here is okay. It's not as well. I mean, almost 200,000 cases across the UK yesterday. But here in Cambridge, we found out that we're only doing like 200 cases a day.
Oh, that's good.
Which is better than Victoria's doing at the moment, might I say.
Yeah, we're going gangbusters. Well, New South Wales is worse at the moment. They're really copping up.
12,000 a day.
Yeah, well, nearly 13,000, 12,700 or something, I think. And what were we today? We were
6,000 something,
5,000 something. So we'll be up around. We'll probably be up around 10,000 by New Year's Day, I would think.
Yeah, probably. It's mad. I've found that most people are more cautious here than I had expected. The stuff you hear coming out of the UK.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's because of particularly where I'm based in Cambridge. Everyone here is fairly learned. Of course, it's the university town.
Well, you're there, so not everybody's really learned.
Well, exactly right. Depends on where you go, just like anywhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But most people have been playing it fairly cautious. I've felt fairly safe, depending on the place where you go. Most people are wearing masks and actually like distancing and being fairly safe about everything. So it's been pretty good here. We've been able to go to the cinemas and stuff. People aren't really going to cinemas here. So we've gone to a bunch of movies where there's maybe like 2 other people in the screening, 3, 4 people. We've been into one screening where it was just us 2. Of course, I saw Spider-Man, which was a packed cinema, which was probably very stupid of me to do. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Because we're waffling again. But there we go. We had to catch everyone up on what's been going on.
Yeah, exactly right.
I didn't mention my flight over here actually was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Because I'd said before I left that I just kept checking like the seating plan on the flight, and there was no one next to me up until, I flew out. I just hope no one just decides to sit in this same row. Luckily, the whole way, I did 3 flights. I did Melbourne to Sydney. There was a guy on the end row, but that was a smaller plane, which I had Wi-Fi on that plane. Crazy. The whole way, like super fast, blazing fast Wi-Fi. Crazy. I was texting you, I was texting Alicia. It was mad. Anyway, welcome to 21st century. And then second flight was from Sydney to Darwin and then Darwin to London. And that was kind of considered the one flight. And no one in my row. No one. The plane was half empty. I got the whole row to myself. On that flight from Darwin to London, I slept for about 9 hours, just lied down on the row, pulled my blankets up. I had 3 blankets, because I had 3 seats worth of blankets. I had 3 pillows. I was living like a king, as close to first class as you could get in cattle class. I was living it, man. I was loving it.
Living the life, Dave.
Living it. I watched a couple of movies. I watched Avengers. Well, by the time I'd woken up, had my food, all that kind of shit, I put on Avengers Infinity War and Endgame back to back on my laptop. Well, I just lied back, had the laptop on my lap, just watching it on my nice big new 16-inch screen. And I was loving life, man. I was loving it. And by the time those movies were done, I was in London. It's great. Good flight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I'd love to have a nice long haul flight with 3 seats to myself.
Oh yeah, it's the simple things in life. It's the simple things.
Well, when you look at a spend, what were the first class flights? They were horrendous. Well, like 20,000 or something.
No, that was like 10 grand. But because I flew in November, so the flights were fairly cheap. I only spent a little bit over $1,000 for my entire flight here, just a one-way trip. But if you wanted to go first class, it was 10 grand. By now, if you wanted to fly out in December, just before Christmas, the first class seats, the economy seats ballooned up to something like 3,000 each, and the first class were up to 30 grand each.
Oh, Jesus! But you know somebody who paid like 10 grand a seat, didn't you? To fly home?
No, it wasn't 10 grand a seat. It was 10 grand for 3 people. 2 people and a baby cost them 10 grand to get out here. I think that was a return flight, though. In economy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's still expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But there you go. Anyway, so let's get on with the show. I don't want to do a very long one today. As I said, it's a nice day here in England, so I want to get out and have a walk around and stuff this afternoon. It'd be nice. So we're gonna do like kind of truncated show today. We'll talk about what movies we've been watching in the kind of period we've been off. A lot of big new movies we've seen. We'll talk about that, TV shows and stuff. We will, of course, do our regular Shite or Alright, but we'll cut out the news segment and all that stuff, and we'll just try and keep everything a little bit tidy today. And when we talk about these movies, we'll try not to waffle on too much because there is a lot to talk about.
Yep.
What a picture.
Good picture. Yeah.
That is so much fun.
There you go. What have you been watching?
Was it the right one?
You got it right, yeah. You got it.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know if I'd get that one right or not.
There you go. That's it. What a picture. What we've been watching this week. So let's talk about what we've been watching. Catalogue-wise, this will be easy because not really much other than like a bunch of Christmas movies on my end, at least.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I've not watched Catalogue movies.
No. I've fallen really far behind on like the stuff Umbrella and Viavision, Imprint, all my distributors have been sending over. I'm falling back behind on sort of trying to catch up on all that stuff I need to cover for them, but we're getting them covered. You're helping me out over there doing all the coverage of that stuff. So kind of up in the new year, we'll try and get all that coverage rolling up again. They've been cool with it. I've spoken to them, and like a lot of stuff was coming in late because the postal system was rammed up until about a week ago. Seems to have sorted itself out a little bit now.
Seems to have settled a bit now. We're sort of getting things within a few days as opposed to a few weeks.
Yeah, which is nice. So come up in the new year, we'll try and catch up on some of that stuff. But yeah, catalogs, it's literally just a bunch of Christmas movies. We don't have to rattle through them all. They're the same every year. All the classics. Exactly right. And it's past Christmas, so don't need to talk about Christmas stuff. No. I did start rewatching the Matrix films though, because I want to go and see the new one, Matrix Ressurections.
Yep.
So I've watched the first 2 Matrix, which were both quite good, both as good as I remember. I haven't watched them for a long time. I used to be obsessed with them. It's probably been a good 20 years since I watched them though, and they held up about as good as I remember. And I'm waiting. I've got to watch the 3rd one, maybe tomorrow, probably tomorrow, and then I want to see the new one when I get a chance.
Well, I've seen. Of course, I went to the premiere screening here of that new one. Yeah. And I got a bit lost with it because I didn't watch the first 3.
Yeah.
So you really need to look at those 3 too.
Yeah. That's why I sort of wanted to go back because it's been so long, and I know they're very complex films.
Yeah, they are.
And I feel like if it's not like fresh, I won't know what the hell's going on.
No, so we'll talk about. Right. There's a lot of flashback stuff through it, but it still jumps about a bit, and it's hard to sort of keep up. And if you don't have a good understanding of the originals, which I haven't seen them for 20 years probably. So.
Oh yeah, about the same as me probably.
And I feel like remember a movie I watched last week, let alone 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I've done them. I've had to sign up for what's called Now TV over here. It's a streaming service. It's part of Sky.
Yep.
So if you don't, how with Foxtel at home, you can sign up to Foxtel as the cable.
Yep.
Or you can sign up to Binge, which is like Foxtel's streaming service, all the same content, but it's just a streamer. This is like Sky's equivalent of Binge. So it's Now TV. So I've signed up for like a 7-day free trial, got through a bunch of Christmas movies, and now I'm just like squeezing the Matrix movies in at the end there.
Cool.
Which is good. We also watched Titanic on Boxing Day. Me and Alicia, we rewatched that one for about the bazillionth time. Still a great movie. Still holds up wonderfully. Don't give me that. We've been over this. You watched it with me not long ago, and you were like, "It was actually pretty good."
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it often.
No, it's I was about. Well, I wasn't sure when I watched it last. I looked on my Letterboxd. It was around this time last year. Actually, it's about a year. Oh no, 2 years ago, because I watched it with Alicia. So it was 2019. I think we watched it around this time. So there you go. So that's it for catalog titles. Let's talk about television stuff. Newer television stuff, then we'll get on to like the movies.
Yeah, cool.
So TV, we'll briefly go through this. We'll talk about what we're thinking about some of this stuff. Of course, the Book of Boba Fett kicked off this week on Disney Plus. Have you had a chance to watch that yet?
No, not yet. I'll watch it tonight after we finished here.
Okay, well, I watched it yesterday. It's good. I feel like, I don't know, it's really hard to judge by one episode. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's probably... I don't know if it kicks off as good as The Mandalorian. I feel like it's going to be like a slower kind of burn. I don't know. It's interesting. It looks like it's going to explore... There's like a bit of flashback stuff that goes back to like exploring how Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit that he falls into at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And then there's stuff which is set after the last season of Mandalorian. So it's kind of a bit of both.
Yeah.
It's good so far. I'm not huge on the Star Wars stuff anymore. I don't know. I've just like kind of gone off it a little bit, but I do enjoy watching it.
Some of those Marvel series start off fairly slow, but then it was like that for me with what one was it?
WandaVision.
The WandaVision. The first 2 or 3 episodes, I just couldn't get my head into it, but then it picked up, and I really enjoyed the back end of it.
Yeah. No,
So
I think
this
it'll be
might be
good.
the
It's
same.
just, well, obviously it's like a setup episode, so I'd be interested to see how that goes the rest of the series. Anyway, keen to see what you think of it, because you really like The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I
stuff.
really enjoyed that. And last night I sort of looked at a bit of the last 2 or 3 episodes of The Mandalorian just to sort of see where Boba Fett came in and how he fit into it again, and then there's that end credit scene after the last episode.
Yeah.
I watched probably 15-20 minutes skipping through it, and then that end credit scene.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm all caught up with it.
Yeah, it should be. I don't think there's too much to know. You just got to know that he falls into a pit at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And now, by the end of Mandalorian, he's taken over Jabba's position as like the head of the underworld in Tatooine. That's about it.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's good. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I think it's going to be, 8. I don't know how many episodes. 8, maybe? How many episodes is Mandalorian? Can't remember.
8.
8, yeah. I think it's going to be about the same. We're talking Disney Plus. Hawkeye has just finished last week. That was the last major Marvel one. What did you think of Hawkeye?
I actually really enjoyed it.
Or as I like to call it, and annoys Alicia very much, Hawk Guy.
Hawkeye.
Yes, I got to watch my Hawk Guy now. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I can see how that will annoy you.
Yeah. How did you enjoy
I actually really enjoyed
Hawk Guy?
No, I did. I actually really enjoyed that.
I
but
was surprised.
I like that character, that Hawk Guy character.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed it. In fact, Mum enjoyed it as well. So
Yeah, I bet she did.
So it was good.
In terms of Marvel stuff.
Yeah, and
I liked
what's her
it.
name? The girl. What's her name? She was fabulous.
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, she was fabulous.
I tell you, it's really weird though because we're watching Dickinson at the same time, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's just weird just going between the two shows. It's like almost a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Because
it's like we're in this weird era now where people can be on multiple different TV shows at once.
Yeah.
Because it's like, back in the day you could have people like big, even still now, big movie stars will be in 2 or 3 movies a year sometimes, Yeah. And the way that television's working now where it's not like you're constantly contracted to be working every single day for a whole year. They film a TV show in the period that you would film a movie. So these actors are now getting a chance to just be in multiple different TV series at once.
Yeah.
So you could be watching Hawkeye one day and then Dickinson the next day. And it's the same actor on a different headlining 2 separate shows. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, even that Hawk guy, he's not just in the Marvel stuff; he's in other stuff as well.
Well, yeah, he's on a series at the moment as well,
and that's odd to cut between as well.
Yeah, well, I think he was on an HBO series at the moment.
Right.
It's interesting to see these people doing different stuff all at once. It's not confusing, like you get lost in the story. It's just such a strange way to be consuming media now, I think.
Yeah.
Very strange, particularly television. But I really liked Hawkeye. I've never been a huge fan of the character, but they take the piss out of that, I think, in the show where he's just a guy with an arrow.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, everyone's just like, you're just a guy with an arrow.
Yep.
You know, fighting with with aliens and shit. And he addresses that pretty well in the show. I think it's a really good character exploration that we've never really had with Clint Barton before.
Yep.
And I think it's very welcome too, because I know when Jeremy Renner, the very first Avengers movie, I don't know how well you remember it, but he gets brainwashed by Loki fairly early in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
And for about 70-80% of the movie, he's brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really pissed off by that. Like, at the end of that movie, he's like, I've just spent this whole movie brainwashed and never really got to flesh out the character.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's never really... You get these little glimpses of the character throughout the movies, but again, the great thing with this Disney Plus stuff is you can really delve into these characters in ways we never have before. And I never felt like a character like Hawkeye was someone who would really hold a movie or a show by himself. But I think they did it really well because they did flesh out this story, and it's a human story, which is great too. Now, it is this guy this normal guy, trained assassin, but he's fighting alongside Iron Man and the Hulk and etc. etc. But they made it really, I don't know, I think they just explored his character really well, and the grief that he has with, the death of Natasha, and following his stint as the Ronin throughout the blip and all that. I think they explored it just really well. I really liked it. I really liked the series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I really liked Haley Steinfeld too as Kate Bishop. I loved, of course, they brought bit of spoilers here, but everyone's watched it. But spoilers just in case. Of course, they bring Yelena into it, Florence Pugh's character, who was introduced in Black Widow. I thought that
that's a really good character.
Oh yeah, I felt the way that her and Kate Bishop worked off each other was just so great. Yeah. That last episode where they're fighting each other, and they stop, and she's like, "Oh, I loved how you did that. You lift me over your head," and just so good. They work so well together, and I'm really excited to see. I feel like they're going to pair those characters up in future movies or series or whatever. I'm just keen to see what they do with that because it's very, very cool. But I'm waiting for them to announce the Hawkeye Hot Toys now. I've got to get a Kate Bishop. And I feel like I have to get Hawkeye because he'll be in the costume that matches the Kate Bishop figure. And I hate my Age of Ultron Hawkeye figure. I've always hated it. It's a crap figure.
Yeah.
It's a crap figure. He's just got that outfit that he wears in Age of Ultron is crap. The head sculpt is crap. And I only bought it because I needed a Hawkeye for my collection. So now I feel like I can sell it and buy the new one. I'll be happy. I'll be content.
As long as are they putting one out?
Well, I don't know. They haven't announced it, but I assume so.
I wouldn't be selling it until you know.
Well, I won't be selling it until I pre-order it, and then the figure arrives 3 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so Hawkeye's good. We are watching Emily in Paris season 2 at the moment. Yep. Don't forget, you have to pronounce it Emily in Paris. It's supposed to rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
It's trashier than ever.
Emily in Paris.
Emily in Paris. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
trash
trashier than ever.
Yeah, it's trash.
How are you feeling about this season?
I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it too. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Just trashy, easy to watch television.
Yeah.
Dickinson season 3 rounded out. How did you feel about the 3rd season of Dickinson? We've really, really enjoyed this show so far. This is the final season.
I didn't mind it. I thought it got a little bit weak towards the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first 2 seasons, but still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I felt the same. I was getting very tired of it by the end. I felt like the quirkiness of it had worn off, like the what would you call it? The sort of just the novelty of it kind of felt like it worn off a little bit by the end. And they originally planned.
It sort of felt like they tried to push it a bit further as well. That quirkiness.
Yeah, well, there's that episode where they time traveled. I thought, what the hell is going on here?
That was pretty shit.
Yeah, that was the point where I was like, I think this show has just jumped the shark. But it didn't feel, I don't know, it didn't feel out of place, which is weird, but it just was just almost like pushed a little too far in that direction. But like, I liked it. I just felt like the novelty had worn off by the end, and I was just like, when's this show? I just want the show to end. And it ended, I felt, on a little bit of an anticlimax.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it did a bit.
But from what I've read, I mean, people who are fans of Emily Dickinson, I thought it was a good ending, because if you know anything about the real Emily Dickinson, she spent most of her life in recluse in her bedroom writing. And she died fairly young. So I feel like the show wraps that portion up where it gets her to a period where she's now just going to live out the rest of her life in her bedroom.
Right.
And that's the kind of feeling you get with that last... because a lot of literary people over the years have questioned, how did someone who has not seen very much of the world write such great poetry? And I think the show positions the fact that it's just someone who had a really great imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, with that last scene where she looks at the painting and has this vivid kind of weird dream sequence.
Yeah.
So it kind of is like, well, she's spent all her life in this room, but it's just this imagination. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. It was good. Good little show.
It was good.
Worth a watch.
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I just felt it got a little bit. I tried to push that quirkiness a bit too far towards the end.
Yeah, but it had worn off. At
yeah,
that
and
point,
they were sort of clutching at straws in some episodes, trying to make them work, and they didn't really work that well. But I still enjoyed it. Still
enjoyed it. That's all right. Another one, The Great. How much of this have you watched? The second season of The Great. This one I feel like you keep forgetting about.
Yeah, I do. I think we've done 5 episodes now.
Right.
So
I watched the whole season.
Is there 10?
And I've 10 or 12 episodes, yeah. I felt about the same with that too. I felt like the novelty's worn off a bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit long in the tooth. It's still fun. It's still really good, really fun little show. But I felt like I'm not enjoying these things as much as like the first seasons. I feel like the novelty's worn off a bit. They're feeling a little bit
tired.
Particularly if you compare The Great and Dickinson, I feel like they're a very similar kind of show in that kind of humor and kind of thing. And I feel like now we've had a lot of that kind of stuff recently, and I don't know, just sort of worn a bit thin. But still enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to return to that for season 3.
And I think that The Great would work better as if the episodes were a bit shorter. I
think that's my problem.
Instead of 58 minutes or 55 minutes, they should be 40.
Yeah.
Cut 10 or 15 minutes off, and I think they'll work a bit better. They'll tighten up.
I think that's my problem, because it feels like something that will work as like a really short form comedy sitcom series as opposed to an hour-long episodes, which was like, because I was trying to get them out of the way, because I'd been given screeners for them, and I had no way to watch a show over here, but I was able to access the screeners. I was like, I'm going to watch the screeners before they time out. So I was like pushing myself through them, and it's not always the best way to enjoy something when you're like forcing yourself to get through something. Yeah, especially when you don't not really in the mood for it. But yeah, so I got through that. It's good. I'm looking forward to see what they do with season 3. Elle Fanning is still incredible, and Nicholas Hoult as well, really great, and all the supporting characters. Nicholas Hoult. Yeah. Another show. Well, actually, I think that rounds out everything that we've watched together.
Yep.
You at the moment are watching Yellowstone. I got to see the first left. You've got one left. I got to see 2 before I went. There's absolutely no way for me to watch it here. Season 2 hasn't even aired here, so I'm going to have to wait until I get home to watch Yellowstone. Anyway, what are you thinking of Yellowstone?
Love it.
Yeah, still?
Absolutely love it. Yeah, it just gets better and better.
This is what, season 4? 3. No, this is 4.
4, yeah, season 4.
Yeah, so they haven't played season 2 or 3 here in the UK, I think.
Really? Didn't we watch it on one platform here and then it went to Stan?
No, we watched it on DVD. Well, we watched the Blu-rays and then had to watch Stan for season 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I sort of felt that it only went on Stan at season 3.
No, it's been on Stan the whole time.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's fantastic, and I've only got the final episode to go now, which will be on Monday.
That's good.
Doesn't drop till Monday. Yeah, I'm looking
I'll have
forward to the finish too. It looks building to a good finish.
I bet. Oh, that'll give me something to watch when I get home. At least.
Are they doing more after this season?
I haven't heard, but I haven't heard that it's the last season. So unless it gets cancelled, well, actually no, because they're doing like all these spin-offs and stuff. So I couldn't imagine they'll be cancelling it. It's obviously a very popular show.
Oh, that's 1883. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they've got 2 in production.
Has that started here yet?
Don't know. I have to look into it.
I saw an ad for it the other day.
I don't think it'll be on at the same time. I imagine it might start afterwards. I'll look into it. But there's two spin-off series coming. One is like a prequel, which is the story of like the original Duttons, how they
acquired the land and shit.
Acquired the land and all that back in the 1800s.
1883.
And then there's 1883, and then there's another one which is named after the ranch. Can't remember the name of the ranch at the moment. Something like that.
Four Sixes.
And Four Sixes Ranch. Yeah. Which is a real ranch.
Yep.
And the guy who created this series bought the ranch, and he's been filming parts of this season of Yellowstone on 4-6. Isn't that part of the show?
Yeah.
They've got someone working at the 4-6's ranch. Yeah.
Well,
so
there's one character that works at Dutton, and he's a cowboy. He's not a real cowboy. He's learning to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
And they shuffle him off to this other ranch to learn how to become a cowboy, and he comes back as a good cowboy.
So it sounds like it'll be a spin-off of that then, probably.
Right.
Nice tax write-off for him. Let's make a series about my ranch my multi-million dollar ranch that I've just bought.
He paid like $6 million or something for it, or
I don't know, something mad.
It's probably more than that, to be honest.
Probably. So that's Yellowstone. I would look forward to checking that out once I get home.
Yep.
Me and Alicia watched You, the 3rd season of You on Netflix, which is one about that weird stalker man.
Mm-hmm.
This season, he's been married, and his girlfriend's just as much. Well, his wife is just as much of a psychopath as him, and it's great.
They're both psychopaths then.
Yeah, it's a really good show. It is such a good show. It's trashy as hell as well. This is a show they did the first season on some network. I think it was the Warner. It wasn't CW. It was one of Warner Brothers' kind of like drama networks over in the US, and it didn't do very well. And then Netflix picked it up a couple of years later, and it became one of the highest viewed TV shows on Netflix ever. So now Netflix have made 2 seasons of it. And It's like one of Netflix's most popular shows. So good. You would really enjoy it. So maybe that's your next thing to get on to.
What's that on here? Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
It's so fun. And the guy in it is awesome. Penn Badgley. He's just such an absolute creep, but it's such a fun show. He's very good. Very good. Season 3 was great. We really enjoyed that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's no use you being a psychopath and your wife not being, so they might as well both be.
Well, exactly. Yeah. It's so good. It goes in all these weird little twisted directions, and you never really quite know where it's going. It's very good. And again, there's going to be another season of that. So I'm hanging for that.
Cool.
It's been such a lot of great TV on at the moment. You've been watching.
You'll have to remind me because I'll forget that one.
I'll put it in your little. I've set you up with your calendar.
Yep.
I've set him up with a calendar where I've got every date that one of his shows goes on television, so he can check his calendar every day. And I've got this to watch tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, working well.
Yep, working real well.
Good.
Apart from the great, because you only put one entry in for the great.
Well, that's the problem.
So,
that's the problem with these Netflix shows when they dump every episode at once. It's hard to, unless you want me to put a reminder every
that's
week.
Okay.
Or
I'm just going to try and remember. I've got to remember because I only remembered. I think I'd watched 1 or 2 episodes, and then I was looking. What's it on Netflix? I think.
Yeah.
And then I was looking. Oh shit! The great's there. I've got to get back onto that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in the head now. So we'll remember
That's
it.
Good.
We'll get it done.
Yeah. You also watched. We were going to start this yesterday, and then we didn't in the end. The Shrink Next Door.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really good. You love Paul. What's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Ant-Man.
Paul Ant-Man,
yeah. And Will Ferrell, and they work together really beautifully.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you'll understand what I'm saying, and you just get to a point where you just want Will's character to just give him a smack in the head,
Yeah.
and say, "Wake up, man! Wake up! Look what this guy's doing to you," sort of thing. So, I think you'll really enjoy that. You'll really enjoy.
Yeah, as I said, we've been watching a few things, and then it's just like trying to find the time to get this next one started. So that's kind of the next one I want to do. But we were going to start it yesterday, and then we ended up watching a movie instead, which we'll talk about soon. But yeah, no, I'm really keen to check that out, and that's on Apple TV Plus.
Yep.
At the moment, what is it? 8 episodes or something? 10 episodes?
I can't remember. 8, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 8.
Yeah.
But it was really good. Really enjoyable.
Yeah, we'll start. It's like a comedy drama sort of.
The funny thing is at the front, how at the front of a show they have a disclaimer that that it's any what do you call it? Any relationship between a real one of these characters and a real person is purely coincidental.
Yeah.
Well, it says something like that it's based on real events, and then it says, it's purely coincidental if it if it's reminds you of anybody sort of thing. So it's really funny. We look at that and laugh every time.
Yeah,
that was really poorly explained, but
yeah. No, I get what you mean. Yeah. No, look, I'm looking forward to that. So we'll get started on that this week. But we did start a show this week, which everyone has been telling us about, and the internet exploded a few weeks ago because the last episode of season 3 was apparently one of the best pieces of television anyone's ever seen. So we've started this show, Succession. It's an HBO series, which has been running for 3 years. So we've started, obviously, at the beginning, season 1. We've watched, I think, 3 episodes so far, and it's very good, but it's very slow.
Right.
Very slow. And we've been told it takes maybe 4 or 5 episodes to kick into shape.
Yep.
So really keen to see where it goes. But people are saying this is like one of the best shows ever. Look on IMDb, it's got an 8.8.
Sure, that's good.
And
so what's it about?
It's this family, very wealthy family. You can imagine it's perhaps based on the Murdochs.
Right.
Where there's this guy who runs, the head of the family, owns this multimedia empire.
Right.
And he has this sort of health crisis and ends up having to step down from his role in the company, and his family has to come in and take over the company.
Okay.
And he's got 3 sons and a daughter, and they end up having to decide the succession plan for him.
Right. Okay.
Trying to figure out who's going to run the company and who's the CEO, who's the CCO, who's going to fit in where. And it's sort of this internal politics within this family of how this company's going to run. And of course, when the father steps down and the son comes in charge, this is in the first couple of episodes, all the stocks in the company start shooting down. Yeah. So now they have to figure out how the hell they're going to keep this company running. In this sort of, it's really quite interesting. You have to be kind of like in the mood for. It's very political, very but it's very good. The writing is very incredible.
Sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, I think you'll really love it. I feel like we're going to really love it too once it kicks into shape. Apparently, it goes just absolutely mental. So yeah, I'm keen. It's got a really great cast. It's got Brian Cox. Not the science one,
the other one,
the actor one. Yeah, he's the head of the family. It's got Kieran Culkin, who is, of course, Macaulay Culkin's brother. Yeah, who was also in Home Alone. Nicholas Braun, you'd know him by face. Matthew McFadyen, you know him by face.
Yep.
And Alan Ruck is in there.
Oh, really?
Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in it. He's obviously much older now, but he's very, very good. Jeremy Strong is in it. You know him by face. And Sarah Snook, who is an Australian actress, and she's incredible. It's such a great cast, really great ensemble cast. You'll really love it.
So what's that on? Apple? Did you say Apple?
No, that's a HBO thing, so I think it's probably going to be on Foxtel. I think you'll probably find it on the streaming section of Foxtel.
Right, okay.
Perhaps. I imagine that's where it is. over there. But yeah, check that out. Apparently, just gets really, really good. Really good.
Sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. Apparently, it's similar to Suits, I think, but people are saying it might be better than Suits. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's very good so far, and we'll probably watch. We'll try and watch one of them a day because Alicia likes to watch one episode of a show at a time. So it's
just
one
to make it
episode.
last longer, or?
Yeah, to make it last longer. So it's gotta watch one episode of it. So I said, okay, I don't mind. Usually I like to binge stuff. So I said, okay, that's fine. We'll watch one show a day, but we're going to have multiple shows going at once.
Yeah.
So, you can get... Because I said, there's so much stuff we've got to watch. There's no way you'll get through everything. You're just watching one episode. I said, we can watch multiple shows at once, and that way, you're sort of getting through multiple shows at the same time. It works okay. It's almost like, you've got one episode of a show to watch every week. And then, we'll watch Succession, and then we'll watch Emily in Paris, and then whatever. You've got Succession. There you go.
Yep.
What's that on? Foxtel?
It's Foxtel.
Very good, yeah. You enjoy it. Get on it.
Lucky,
I think Mum will probably enjoy it too.
Lucky I kept Foxtel for a little bit because they gave it to me. Real cheap.
Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, that's really good. Here's another show we both watched. We got to be careful because we could talk about this for hours.
Oh, yeah,
and we have.
Right.
And I want to cap this show off in the next 40 minutes. But of course, Disney Plus's incredible docuseries, The Beatles Get Back, by the wonderful Peter Jackson, who has pulled together this incredible 8-hour, as it turned out, mini-series on the Beatles, their second last penultimate recording sessions for the Get Back album. And wasn't it just
it was
work of art?
Fantastic. It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
We waited and waited and waited for it, and it was really worth the wait. The only thing I could say was it would have been better if he had instead of, what was it, 3 episodes? Instead of being 3 episodes, make it 4, maybe 5 episodes and just stretch it out a bit longer so that you're not sitting through 2.5 hours at a time. You go through, an hour and a half to 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. That was my only issue. Even as diehard Beatles fans, it felt like 2.5 hours an episode was a little excessive.
Yep.
I love the idea that they gave us 8 hours. Originally it was supposed to be a movie, so it was going to be like a 2.5 hour movie, and then they said no, we're going to turn it into a 6-hour mini-series, and then when it came, the big surprise was no, this thing's fucking 8 hours long. Which is great. I'd sit through more of it, but 2.5 hour episodes was pushing it a lot.
Yeah.
And I've heard from people who aren't diehard Beatles fans who are like, fucking hell, I got to sit through these really long episodes where I'm going to find the time.
That was Alicia, wasn't it?
Sort of thing. Well, Alicia, yeah. Well, Alicia watched most of it with me. She's sort of playing games on her phone most of the time, but was kind of interested, would pop in and out and be interested in little bits and pieces. And I feel like a lot of people would be like that, though, if you're not a diehard fan.
Yeah, probably. I think I'm going to be sitting through it again soon because Brenda next door wants to watch it, and she doesn't have what's it on?
Disney Plus.
She doesn't have Disney Plus. And I said, well, you come in here and watch it. I'll watch it again. She said, oh yeah, after Christmas, after the New Year. So I think in the New Year she'll want to come in. That's
3
okay.
nights in a
I'll
row.
watch it.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Yeah, no, it's good. I loved it. I thought it was great. And of course, this is like the holy grail. We've spoken about this on length. This is the holy grail for Beatles fans.
Yep.
This is the missing footage that's been in a vault for years that everyone's wanted to see about, the tumultuous Get Back sessions, the ones that, tore the band apart. And it couldn't have been further from the truth in the end.
Well, yeah, to a degree. I mean, you always had that perception that it was Paul that caused the breakup of the Beatles and Yoko and all that sort of stuff. But that really wasn't what happened, and we won't go into it because it will be here for the next 4 hours talking about it.
Yeah.
But there was some truth to it.
Well, I feel like the sessions have had a bad rap because these are the ones that broke the Beatles apart. The Beatles said they had a horrible time making the album. But the most part of it, they're getting along and they're playing their mate. This is what they've been saying, in the advertisement for it. Is like their mates, they're getting along, they're having fun. They're playing songs that they wrote together when they were 16 years old and just having a blast. But you can see that there are these small cracks that are there that then lead to what would eventually break the band up over the next 2 or 3 months.
But it's like you can see they're still really close and they're really good mates.
Yeah.
But the business gets in the way. And and it's always that sort of the financial side of something that can really destroy a relationship with people.
Yeah.
I mean, it destroys marriages and everything, you know. So you can understand that when you've got a business like the Beatles had, you know, with Apple Corps and the business of the Beatles, you can see how it can go awry really quickly.
Yeah.
And you can see Paul wanted to try and keep it all together. And he wanted to keep the business side of it going, but John was more interested in having a more relaxed life. And you know, at one point, Paul said that if it came down between the Beatles and Yoko wins.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much how it was. Ringo was pretty cool. He just went along with the flow, you know,
just chilled.
And then there were other issues with George and
yeah.
Between George and Paul more than anything, you know.
Yeah.
Paul kept shooting him down and whatever, but anyway.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's like these little cracks. George leaves, then comes back, and they patch everything up, but you just know how the story ends 3 months later. So all the little cracks are there, but they sort of patch it up at the end, and they're getting along, and then you just know shit's going to hit the fan, which is kind of the sad part about it at the end, because it is, as you said, there's just such a tight-knit group of friends, and they really do love each other and want to get along, but there's just something that's going to get in the way. But I would have loved them to keep filming the Abbey Road sessions.
Oh, that would have been
because
great.
Apparently what happened there was that Yoko Ono decided to install a bed in the studio.
Oh,
so
really?
she could essentially live in the studio with them, and she was in the bed and just sleeping and just lying around, and that was another one of those things that was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So, it would be interesting. But, so it's the Beatles get back. We'll cap that there, or we just fucking talk about that for hours.
One of the really interesting things I found about it was George having written a lot of his music. And I was reading in that the All Things Must Pass.
Yeah.
Booklet thing.
With the album,
With the album. That he'd been writing stuff from about 1965. That Paul was just dismissing and all that sort of stuff. So I found that really interesting, and how he wanted to make a solo album while he was still at the Beatles. And
you saw that in the show anyway, where his ideas just keep getting shut down.
Yep.
And then he discusses it with John. He's like, I'm sick of writing songs that get shut down. I'm sick of writing songs for other people. I just want to write my own songs and make my own album and see what my own songs sound like by themselves.
Yeah.
And then John said, it's probably a good idea for all of us.
Yep.
Which is the beginning of that. But anyway, let's cap that there, because we'll just go on forever.
Yeah, exactly right.
Let's talk about new movies that we've had the chance to see. Great thing here in the UK. We got this cinema chain here in Cambridge called The Light. I don't think they have many of them. I think there's maybe 6 cinemas sort of in some of the smaller towns. I think it's an offshoot of a larger chain called Cineworld. I believe the guy that used to run Cineworld now runs The Light, or something like that. But we've got one here, and they have what's called their Infinity card. £15. You pay £15 per month, and you get unlimited movies. You don't got to pay for a movie at all. Go to the cinema, you use your Infinity card, you get a free ticket. So
are you listening, Village? Hoyts, you listening?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. No one does it at home. But apparently most of the major chains here do this. I believe they do in America. I think AMC has a loyalty program like this, or did. But so we pay £15. Some movie tickets here can range between £5 and £10. So by the time we've seen 2 movies, we've already got benefit from the card. And we saw 4 or 5 movies.
Wow.
Maybe 6 movies on this card. We're just getting free movies basically every month. So good. You get 20% off your concessions. So we get real cheap popcorn. And it's been great. We've been really enjoying it. And I think the price goes up in a couple of months to £17 or something. But that's
oh, jeez.
The only thing, so it's $30, and you get $30 is the price of one ticket at home at the cinema now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we pay $30 and then get as many movies as we want. The only thing is, if you want to go and see a movie in the IMAX, you got to pay a little extra, but it's still a discounted rate. So IMAX tickets here are about £15-16. With the Infinity card, you only have to pay £5, £6. It's like $10 for an IMAX ticket, which are about $40 at home. $35, $40, whatever they are now. So anyway, we've been getting ourselves to the cinema to see all the biggest stuff. And while you're at home, I've still been sending you along to the preview screenings and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've been enjoying that?
It's been fantastic. It's been a couple I haven't been able to get to, but gotten to most of them. Well, most of them.
You've seen quite a few. Let's get the biggest one out of the way. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh, good. Loved it.
Here's some stats on this one. This has been out for 3 weeks. It's crossed $1.2 billion globally.
Oh, in a pandemic.
It makes it. What's that?
In a pandemic. Yeah, wait. I'll get to that. So this is 3 weeks. That makes it, I think, the third fastest film ever to cross $1 billion. Third fastest ever to cross $1 billion. Ooh,
it's currently the 21st highest grossing movie of all time. That will just rocket up that list as the longer it's in cinema. It's not even open in China yet. Keep that in mind, which is a huge market. And they love Spider-Man over in Asia. So I think that could be huge in China. It's the highest grossing Spider-Man movie ever. It's the first film since Rise of Skywalker in 2019 to cross $1 billion, which obviously makes it the only film of the pandemic era to hit this milestone. And the previous record for pandemic box office was No Time to Die, the last James Bond, $774 million. So it's absolutely blasted that by about $400 million already in 3 weeks. So it's huge.
Yeah, cool.
That's
said, incredible. So, could you imagine what it would have done if it was non-pandemic? If that's the case.
I feel like it would have done. Better, but I don't know. I don't know if it would have championed Endgame, which was almost $3 billion. I don't feel like it would have got that much, but I feel like it probably would have done. Yeah, it would have done a lot better, which is crazy to think because this is insane. This is already Sony Pictures' highest grossing film of all time, as well. So
they were smart. They were smart hooking up with Marvel, then, weren't they?
Exactly right.
That's exactly why they did it.
Yeah. Like I said, every cinema screening we've been in, there's been like maybe at most 10 other people in the session. This one, I went on opening morning and it was packed.
Yeah.
Absolutely packed.
Yep.
Probably very stupid of me to do it in the pandemic, but I was very surprised. They've just introduced a mask mandate for cinemas, which is very good. So almost everyone in the cinema was wearing masks, which I was very surprised by and very happy with. I double masked. I got to sit over in the side. I had a whole row to myself. So the cinema was like probably at 95% capacity, but I had a whole row to myself. There was no one in the row behind me. Couple of people in front of me. I just felt like I was in a fairly safe position. I saw it on the IMAX screen, so a huge cinema. It's like a 3-year-old cinema. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they installed the IMAX. When I was here the first time, actually, or maybe the second time. And it's well ventilated. It just felt very safe to be there. But yeah, full cinema, and it was great.
The screening I was in, the preview screening, that was probably, that wasn't full. That would have been probably 70%, maybe 65-70% full.
Interesting.
So there was I had seat either side of me and all that sort of shit. So
interesting.
It wasn't an issue.
Well, I've seen it twice now. I saw it 2 days ago for my second screening. We went IMAX again because Alicia wanted to see it, and there was probably only, I think I counted 15 other people in that session. Yeah. So, but the last 2 weeks we haven't been able to get in. Well, we have, but all the sessions have been pretty jam-packed.
Oh, really?
And yeah, we were just like, I've risked it once going and seeing this in a big session. I don't really want to do it again. So we just sort of waited for the crowds to die down. We went to a 10 a.m. session a couple of days ago, and like 15 other people in there, and it was, it was good. It's easy.
Did Alicia enjoy it?
Yeah, she really liked it.
Oh, that's good.
She really liked it, which is good. I made her watch because she's watched Homecoming, she's watched Infinity War, Endgame, had not seen Far From Home, wasn't very interested in watching it.
Right.
So I made her watch, and she has not seen any of the Tobey Spider-Man or Andrew Spider-Man films. So I made her sit through like a recap on YouTube. It's like a 15-minute thing. It recapped all of the Spider-Man movies. She's like, I don't need to watch these recaps. She says that I bet Toby and Andrew are not even going to be in the movie that much. I was like, yeah, but there's other things you need to just sort of understand what's happened in the past movies. She's like, all right, we'll watch it. And then, once the villains start coming into the movie, you've got your Green Goblin, you've got your Sandman, you've got, the Lizard, you've got all these old villains coming in. And they come in, they're talking about, the last time I faced up against Spider-Man, all these references to the old movie. I turned to Alicia, I was like, are you happy I made you watch those recaps? She was like, yes. Yeah. And the Sandman comes up, she goes, oh, that's the Sandman. I was like, yeah, that's the Sandman. So she kind of...
Dr. Ock.
Doc Ock, Electro. Yeah. So she had an idea of who they were, and
right.
The recaps were very good. So it was just sort of recapped the movie and showed you when they go up against Spider-Man and
right.
how they died at the end of the movies and whatever. So it gave her the understanding of what she needed for those characters without having to watch 7 movies.
Yeah.
And then got the recap up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man ones, the Tom Spider-Man films.
And they were just YouTube things you're watching.
Yeah, it's just a YouTube video,
yeah.
just a guy on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the channel, but it's really good if you look him up. It was like 15 minutes, recapped all the movies, and it was really good. So yeah, really loved it. Really loved it. I loved it. And the interesting thing is, well, you go. What did you feel about it?
About the Spider-Man, I just loved it. I just thought it was one of the best Marvel films to have been made, and the way they blended the 3 Spider-Man and the interaction between them, and I just really enjoyed it. Really did enjoy it.
Now, we were both very skeptical about this film.
Oh, incredibly.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Saying, this sounds cool, but if they don't pull this off in the right way, it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck. I feel like a lot of people were the same, because it's one thing to go, oh, hey, we're going to do the multiverse, but to pull it off properly is like another thing. And in a way, it kind of was like that old gag that I used to do. Oh, open a portal. Oh, it's Toby. Oh, open another portal. It's Andrew. They kind of did that, but they did it in kind of they did it very well. They did Yeah. So I loved it. There's just so much you could say about it, but we'll try not to bang on too long. But loved it. And like the first superhero movie I ever saw in a cinema was the first Spider-Man. Tobey Spider-Man film.
Spider-Man.
So for me, it was like this like circle of life moment where I got to see all the Spider-Man of my childhood.
Yep.
With the Spider-Man of my
youth,
adolescence,
yep,
and the Spider-Man of my adulthood all coming together. It's just so fucking good. I just loved it.
Yep.
Just like emotional film, so many emotional moments that just throws back to like great things in the past. The way they sort of give you a little bit of a backstory to where these characters have been over the years, and the way they got to tie up kind of plot points from the old movies, and it was a movie for the fans.
Yeah, and even the way they blended the villains together.
Oh yeah,
the way they interacted with each other and came into the same world and all that sort of stuff. I just thought it was fabulous. I thought they did a great job of it.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I loved, as you said before, the interaction between the 3 Spider-Man. Oh, it's just so good. Little gags and they just worked together and you could tell that they were just having the fucking time of their life.
Yeah,
all of them.
What they missed an opportunity though. They didn't have Toby's girlfriend or Andrews or whatever. Because that would have been an interesting sort of.
Yeah, I think there were rumors that Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone were sort of in the area at the time they were filming the movie. And I think there were maybe photos of them had surfaced or something, and there were rumours that, maybe they were going to be in the movie, but I think they were maybe just filming other projects at the same time. But I would have liked to have seen Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy come through and do something with it. Well, Gwen Stacy died in the last movie, so
hard to bring her
but
back.
I think, well, yeah, exactly right. I mean, they brought Norman back and all the other ones, so. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Now you said in your screening, which was a critic screening, people were going wild in the audience.
Man, every time a new character arrived, like when Andrew Garfield came in, they just went nuts, cheering and clapping. Yeah. And then the same with Toby, and then each of the old villains and stuff came through, and then when certain things happened during the film, they'd go nuts, and it was just incredible.
And that's so rare for a critic screening.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Look, I think there was probably a lot of maybe competition winners or something as well in there.
Yeah, it was probably like a fan event.
Yeah, maybe it could have been something like that. But there were a lot of critics and stuff.
Yeah.
Reviewers and whatever in there as well. That the twins and.
Sometimes they'll do what's called the fan event, which is the premiere, and they invite a bunch of fans into it as well as critics and reviewers and shit like that. My session,
quite a few people dressed up and
yeah.
So I think we went to one where there was a guy dressed as a Spider-Man with a backpack, and he was there again on that in that one. And so there was a few. It's good.
Yeah, that's good. We my screening, the first one I went to was the very first screening of the first day, and people were going wild.
Yeah.
Clapping and screaming and I loved it. There's been a bit of a discourse on Twitter at the moment. Some people who are like, no, if you go and see a movie, you got to sit down and shut the fuck up, right? But a movie like this, man, I think you just got to enjoy that experience of the cinema. It's a culmination of 20 years worth of movies that have meant so much to so many people. And this is like a movie that no one ever thought we'd ever get.
Yeah.
And, I came out of Endgame. Endgame is another movie where the audience goes fucking wild. Captain America picks up the hammer and everyone's like, fuck! I knocked over my box of popcorn at that moment because I just shat my pants. I was like, and knocked over my popcorn. It's that kind of, and I came out of that movie like I'm never going to experience a movie like that ever again, because that was the culmination of 12 years of these films. But then this movie has come out of absolutely fucking nowhere. No one has ever expected this would ever happen. I never thought Tobey Maguire would return to the role. Never thought we thought Andrew Garfield had lost his shot of ever playing Spider-Man ever again. And it's just like, you got to embrace that kind of thing. And I think that's what cinema's about, just going in there and really just fucking just eating it up.
Yeah.
And my second screening was more subdued. No one was cheering or anything. I think that's okay. But I feel like some movies, like if I went to see, like maybe, I don't know, what's another, House of Gucci. And people were, I'll be like, sit the fuck down. Shut up. Sit down. I think it depends on the movie. Yeah. I think it depends on the film. Like, if it's Spider-Man, it's a big event movie, especially if it's a fan screening. Like my screening, first session, early morning, you're going to expect fans to be there and cheering and whooping and just loving it. Later sessions, I feel like it's going to be more subdued because it's people who, but I don't see a problem with that. I think it's great. I think just enjoy it. Just get involved. I wasn't standing and whooping, but I was like, I'm there by myself in a row by myself. Like, yes, woo, yeah. Just loving it. Just getting involved.
The same. I you know what I'm like. I'd like to go watch a film and just enjoy the film. I don't want distractions and shit. But with all that going on around me, I actually really enjoyed it and thought, you people are just absolutely loving this and making this film for me.
I think it's great.
It was really good.
Don't be a Grinch and go to one of these big... Martin Scorsese, perhaps in the end, did say it best when he called these movies theme park attractions.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what it is. You go and you just have fucking
Yep.
fun, like
Yep.
you're on a fucking roller coaster.
Yep.
You know, and just let the audiences don't sit there with your arms crossed, like sit down, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Just
no.
enjoy it, man. Soak it up.
I got
think it's great.
I got a lot of enjoyment in their enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I think movies like this, it's about that communal experience in the cinema.
Yep.
And particularly right now where we haven't had anything like this. This is like, you don't get movies like this very often. And like, I thought Endgame is a one-off, right? We've managed to get 2 movies like this in a short space of time. And I think it's what it's all about. Just that's like the power of cinema and these characters that we love, just sitting there and just enjoy it with other people, like-minded people who love it. I think it's the perfect movie for right now because we've just, we've been out of the cinemas for too long, and to come back with such a big movie like this is just so fucking cool. And I just think that's just like people celebrating cinema and movies and these characters. And this movie blitzes it with over $1 billion. 6 months ago, we were questioning if a movie was ever going to make $1 billion at the box office ever again.
Exactly right.
I feel like this movie proves that people still love that cinema experience.
Yep.
And if you don't give them that option to stream it same day, they're going to fucking flock out and see movies like this.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it with crowds. I think this is the best way to celebrate the return of cinemas and these characters that we love. Just fucking lap it up. I loved it. Had so much fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. Really enjoyed that. Really did enjoy it.
Let's talk very quickly about a few other movies we've seen because we're getting long in the tooth again.
Yep.
You saw Matrix Resurrections. You briefly spoke about that. I haven't seen it just yet. Overall thoughts, though?
I enjoyed it.
Didn't like it?
No,
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I just need to go back and watch it again after having watched the other films.
Right, yeah.
Because there was a lot for me lost in translation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, although that, as I said earlier, they had a lot of flashbacks and stuff, and used a lot of old footage. There was still a little bit disjointed for me.
Right.
But if I was a diehard fan and I knew the films back to front, it would have been fantastic.
Mm.
No, all the special effects were there and all that sort of stuff. But that aside, the storyline itself was actually not bad. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Now, because I did send you along to a screening of this for the studio, I would feel bad if we didn't provide some sort of review for the film. What rating would you give it out of a 5?
Out of 5, it would be about a 3.5.
Yeah, it's probably what I'm expecting.
It was fairly decent.
I'll see it maybe this week. Well, probably next week, and we'll talk about it on the next show in a month's time. But yeah, okay. Contractual obligation to review Matrix. Tick, done. There you go, Warner Brothers. We've got that one out the way. I watched yesterday with Alicia Don't Look Up. This is the new film on Netflix with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Cate Blanchett, Tyler Perry, etc., etc., etc. Mike Rylance, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill. Huge cast of characters. It's directed by Adam McKay, who was Will Ferrell's producing partner. They did stuff like Anchorman, Step Brothers together, but more recently, McKay's been doing more kind of pseudo-intellectual, political sort of things like The Big Short and Vice, which are 2 movies I didn't really like that much. But Don't Look Up, I really liked. I thought this was a really good movie. It's been a bit... it's had a bit of a kind of mixed response. There are people who really fucking hate it and people who really love it. I thought I was going to be in the camp of people who didn't like it because I didn't really like McKay's past 2 movies. But I thought it was fun. It's this really great kind of satirical take on the world at the moment. DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence's character discover that this comet is coming down. They've got like 16 days before this extinction level event. The comet's going to fucking destroy the Earth. Yep. And it's them trying to convince everyone that the world is ending. And they take it to the president, and the president just basically laughs them out of the office and is like, "Oh, no, we've got other things to deal with.
Yeah.
We've got the primaries coming up, and we've got the elections coming up, and that's more important. And we'll just kind of focus on them, and then we'll put a little bit of attention to this comet. We'll see what's going on in the background, and then when they kind of start failing, they start losing public interest, they're like, well, let's maybe look into this comet thing, you know? So it's like this real satirical kind of look.
Yep.
A lot of people, I think the problem a lot of people had with it was that it's very on the nose, and I feel like it is. I feel like a lot of the time it's a one-trick pony where it tells the same gag over and over and over again.
Right.
It's also 2.5 hours long, so it gets to a point where you're like, this movie's getting it's a bit too much. But I enjoyed it. DiCaprio is fantastic as always. It's great to see Jennifer Lawrence kind of back in a big role. I love her. I've always thought she's fantastic, and she's disappeared for a little bit, but she's so good in this. And really, the whole cast is great. I'd definitely say check it out this weekend if you can, or whenever. Yeah. But we both enjoyed it. Alicia really liked it as well.
Cool.
So it's quite fun. It's fun. It's easy to watch. It's funny. I feel like it's not as intellectual as the other Adam McKay kind of politically infused films. Mm-hmm. It's kind of maybe it skirts between Anchorman and Big Short or Vice, right, where it's satirical but it's a bit more goofy in the way that it does it. And I think maybe that's what a lot of people don't like about it. But we had fun with that. Oh, cool. Encanto, we both saw this one. It's the new Disney animated film. Did you enjoy this one?
Yeah, I was sort of getting sick of that formula. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that was the latest one, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I did enjoy it. It was beautiful. Like, you know, they just do a beautiful job of their animation and stuff. Yeah. But I'm just getting a little sick of that formula. I think they need to do something about it. You know, because they're all the same like that. And Luca and a couple of others, they've got that same sort of formula.
Moana and Brave and Raya and the Last Dragon and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I felt exactly the same. I've loved these movies. Moana is incredible, one of my favorite Disney animations ever. Luca was incredible, gorgeous film. Stuff like Princess and the Frog, even. I mean, Frozen follows this formula. It's just, but it is at the point now where I'm like, I want something else,
something different.
Just do something different because it is very formulaic now. I mean, Disney's always worked with some sort of formula. Always has had some sort of like formula that works for maybe 10 years and then it's like, okay, move on to something else. The next film is going to be one called Strange World, which is inspired by kind of sci-fi pulp adventures. So it's going to be a bit like Journey to the Center of the Earth kind of thing. Looks really quite good. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It looks very different to anything they've maybe ever done. So I'm looking forward to that. But Encanto, I liked it. Nice movie. It just feels too same
formulaic,
very safe,
And it's funny. I felt like I was sitting with your mother watching your mother on screen.
Oh yeah, she looks very much like. At least she said the same thing. She's like, "It looks like your mother." I was like, "Yeah, I know." We have both also checked out Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, I loved it.
You love that one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Funnily enough, I got to see this one before you did at the premiere screening over in Australia. And I saw it like 3 weeks after it had been released here.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought they did a fabulous job of bringing the old characters back and all those sorts of things. Spoilers, sorry. Yeah. Anyone who wasn't
seen. I think we all know by now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I had a lot of fun with it. I actually really, really quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've been a big Ghostbusters fan forever. Don't know how many times we've watched, you know, the first one at least. But yeah, just the callbacks to the original movies, and of course you've got Paul Rudd in there, who's just so great. Perfect casting for a Ghostbusters movie, I think. And I really loved it. I thought it was really good. And again, another one of those movies that's just a bit of fan service, but it's you know, a lot of fun, and they did it really well, really respectfully. And the son of the original director, Ivan Reitman, his son, Jason Reitman, wrote and directed this one. Yeah. So nice to have that kind of family connection there. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a good movie.
I saw an interview with Jason Reitman. He said that his father was on set quite a bit, and he said he found it really odd trying to live up to the original films in front of his father. Yeah, and he said occasionally his dad would say, "Well, you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done it that way," sort of thing, you know. So he said, he found that a little bit weird.
Yeah. So I had fun with that if you're a Ghostbusters fan. I feel like maybe if I was in Ghostbusters and people were jumping up and down and screaming and hollering, I'd be like, sit down, mate.
Sit the fuck down.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like it's a very different beast to this Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that's good. Both enjoyed that. House of Gucci, I've seen. You haven't seen this one.
Seen. That was one that you had a screener, but I couldn't get to.
Yeah, you had a gold class screening for that. It's funny because every time I get a ticket to a gold class, I can't go. Every time, and it doesn't happen that often. Maybe 3 or 4 times it's happened, and I've never been able to make it to the gold class session. Me and Alicia and I got to check it out. Not very good.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's
been slammed around town a bit.
It's I don't know how I felt about it at the time, but it's the Italian accents are awful. Everyone in it is really hammy acting. I went there because I love Lady Gaga, I love Al Pacino, Adam Driver is fantastic. Not a fan of Jared Leto. Jared Leto does his typical. But they were all just really. I think the best performer in the film was Driver.
Right.
Lady Gaga was just way too over the top and just trying too hard to do the Italian accent. And I was like, how? She's Italian. I was like, how the hell can she not? And Alicia was like, well, this would be like you trying to be an Italian person in a movie. I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yes,
like, hello, I'm from the Gucci family. But I was no better than that, these people. Even Al Pacino was there doing just a really bad Italian accent. I'm thinking, geez. But the movie was just like, it's long. It's 2.5 hours long. And it's almost like nothing really happens in the movie. And it's just this long, drawn-out sort of Oscar bait film. And I was not a fan of it. Really didn't care for it very much.
Well, I think you just explained why you were offered a gold class seat for it.
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe. Another one I checked out you haven't seen just yet was King Richard.
I'm looking forward
which
to
is the
seeing that
new
one too.
Will Smith film. It's about Richard Williams, the father of Serena and Venus Williams, and sort of about how he had this lifelong plan for them before they were even born, that they were going to be tennis superstars.
Yeah.
And how he sort of is what you would call the soccer mum. He's like their soccer mum throughout their entire youth, trying to run their kind of
life and their career
their life and their rise to tennis fame. And on one hand, you're kind of like, this guy's very controlling and everything has to be done his way. But then on the other hand, you can kind of see that the way he does these things is to kind of protect them from, there was another tennis player at the time, very young player, who got into drugs and was in trouble with the law and all this stuff. And he tried to make sure that they didn't grow up too fast in the game and they didn't, achieve the fame too early in their life. And it's really, really quite little good spotlight on this guy who, over the years, people have been like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
You see all the interviews with him and you're like, this guy's just absolutely nuts. But puts this nice little spotlight on him. Will Smith is fantastic. The 2 girls that play Serena and Venus are both incredible as well. There's some great other little faces that pop up here and there. John Bernthal is in there from The Punisher. He's terrific in it. Really good. You'll love it when you get a chance to see it.
Yeah, that was another one you had screeners for that I couldn't get to.
Yeah, it was. Through Universal. Yeah, but you will love that when you get a chance to see it. It's a good home movie. It's one I would have waited to see at home. But because we've got our cinema card, we're just taking advantage of it.
But I think I think Venus and Serena both speak, fondly of their father.
Yeah, well, after you see the movie, you kind of understand why.
Yeah.
He had this plan, and the reason he did the things is kind of all explained. And it's just Will Smith's great. This is his best role in a long time. I really loved it. I don't know. I think you watched this one. This is another Netflix film called Red Notice.
Yeah. Watched it
with The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. What did you think about this one?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't fantastic.
Yeah.
But, anything Ryan Reynolds touches is a little bit of fun.
Yeah. I think this is already the highest viewed Netflix movie ever, or was
really?
the most debuted over 14 days or something like that. Most viewed, yeah. huge, broke records. Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest film ever, but I enjoyed it. It was a bit of fun, and it was The Rock playing The Rock again.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
I don't remember much of it. Alicia and I thought it was a bit crap, but that said, we did watch it when I was kind of in my jet lag phase.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite stay awake, so I feel like maybe I need to watch it again and kind of maybe get my head around it.
As I said, it's not the greatest film you'll ever watch. It's just a little bit of fun. And
yeah, because usually
I don't know what it's got, probably about a... I don't know, would have probably about a 6.2 or a 6.5 or something like that, I would think.
Something like that,
on IMDb.
probably. I usually love movies like that, just switch your brain off kind of movies and whatever. So I'll probably give it another go at some point. But from my first jet lag viewing, wasn't a huge fan. Sing 2, I checked out recently. I got to see this early. I think it's out now. I think it opened on Boxing Day in Australia. I actually really quite liked it. I'd never watched the first one. It's one that I was like, I have no interest in this at all. Singing animals, no interest. So I watched the first one before I watched the second, and I actually really enjoyed both of them. The second one's probably better than the first. It's nothing like you would imagine it is. It's a really good film about these characters that are just trying to, achieve the best in life through music. And I think it's just a really sweet little movie. You'd probably enjoy them. I think I had the idea that it was just like funny animals just singing pop songs and stuff. And in some regard it is, but it's got really good writing and all the performers are great and stuff. So got to see Sing 2. I got to interview some of the cast of the movie as well. Got to speak to Scarlett Johansson, which was
awesome.
insane opportunity to speak with her very briefly.
The guys at work were very jealous.
Were they?
Yeah, they got to speak to her, yeah.
Yeah, Tori Kelly, I spoke to Nick Kroll, and the director as well of the film, Garth Jennings. I was going to play some clips from that on this show, but we're running a little bit late. So if you do want to hear those interviews, you can head to my YouTube channel and check those interviews out. I had a lot of fun doing those. Definitely the biggest interview I've landed so far.
Yeah, they look like a bit of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really, really loved it.
And really accommodating people too.
They were all wonderful. They were all absolutely wonderful. And Scarlett was incredible to speak to. Tori was they were all great. Nick Kroll. It's the second time I've got to speak to Nick Kroll now, and he's so fun. I got to speak to Nick Kroll also for the Addams Family 2, which is next movie. Not the Addams Family 2, but I got to speak with Nick Kroll for the Addams Family 2, which that comes out January 6th in Australia. It's been out in America for ages. I really liked Addams Family 2. I'm still a little bit embargoed on it, but I think I can say I liked it.
Well, you have.
Did I like it? I can't even remember what I thought about it. It's been literally like 3 months since I saw it. So my review will go out on that. I think I liked it, but it wasn't great. My review will go up on that. I think this week my review can go up for that, and my interviews for the film as well will go up this week. Nick Kroll, Jovan Warner Walton, who plays Pugsley, and the director of the film, Conrad Vernon, who also voices Lurch. So there'll be some interviews for those as well. That is it for everything we've been watching. I will do a quick Letterboxd Wrapped though. Should we do a Letterboxd Wrapped for 2021?
Sure, why not?
All right, so these are my final stats.
There's no sting for that, is there?
There's no sting for that.
Okay.
No,
I'm just
luckily.
searching. Is there a sting for that?
No sting. But you might want to prepare your next sting for the next segment.
Yeah, I think I know which one it is.
Well, actually, okay. So, Letterboxd Wrapped. Now, I've been doing this as we go every month. We figure out, through my Letterboxd, who my most watched actors are, what my most watched movie, how many movies I've watched. We're going to track it throughout the year. These are the final stats for 2021.
Mm-hmm.
My most watched movies of 2021 were Jungle Cruise, which I watched 3 times, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Black Widow, Luca, and Cruella. Watched all of those twice. My most watched genre for the year was drama. Watched 221 drama films.
Ooh.
Closely followed by comedy, 144. Action films and thriller both tied on 140, and then crime 107. So they're my most watched genres for the year. 89% of the films I watched this year were first-time watchers.
That's good.
So movies that I watched for the first time, almost 90%. 14% were new releases.
2021 releases.
2021 releases.
Mm,
I think,
cool.
yeah. Most watched actors. Here we go. In third place, with 7 movies apiece, Tom Spiderman, Paul Walker, Sung Kang, Ludacris, obviously because we binge watched the
Fast and Furious.
films. Nicole Kidman, D. Bradley Baker, who's a voice artist who did a bunch of those DC animated movies that I watched.
Yep.
Christopher Walken and Gong Li, who's that incredible Chinese actress whose films I was watching before I went away.
Yep.
I was hoping to get a couple more of her films in when I got here. Haven't had the time. If I'd done that, that would have pushed her into first place. But as it is, she's in third place with all those other fantastic performers there. Second place, with 8 movies apiece, Lon Chaney Jr., because I watched a bunch of movies he did, the Inner Sanctum Mysteries films.
Right.
And Vera Farmiga.
She's in it.
That's right.
Everything, isn't she?
She's just in everything. She just keeps popping up in shit. Yeah. And we did the Conjuring films this year as well, so that boosted her a little bit.
Sort of feel that she sort of came onto the scene fairly late in life. And has just done everything since.
She's been doing stuff for a while, but I feel like it's only recently where she's been doing a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. She did that wonderful film with George Clooney, Up in the Air.
That's right. Yeah.
She was in that. It's one of the first things I think I probably saw her in. She's great in that. First place, with 9 movies, we've got a 5-way tie.
Woohoo!
We've got a 5-way tie. Now, Andrea Romano, legendary voice casting agent, who casted a bunch of the DC animated films and was in a bunch of the DC animated films. She's been leading the pack for like months, ever since I binge watched a bunch of DC animated films. So she's still there in first place. Alongside Wham Bam Van Dam, JCVD. He managed to hold top spot as well. But also, Dwayne The Rock Johnson got in there as well.
It's another one that's in everything.
Yeah, so it was going to be, at one point, remember, it was going to be like, who's going to win? The Rock, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's going to take out the prize? They've both finished top spot. And at the last minute, 2 other action heroes have swooped in and taken top spot alongside these guys. Vin Diesel and Anthony Mackie. Now, obviously, Vin Diesel got a little bit of a boost with the Fast films.
Yep.
But what has pushed both Vin Diesel and Anthony Mackie into first place at the last minute is me having rewatched Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh, there you go.
Now, if we want to be a little bit more technical, if you want to... This doesn't count rewatches. So this only counts singular films.
Right.
So if this counts rewatches, Dwayne The Rock Johnson takes first place because I watched Jungle Cruise fucking 3 times. So really, I've watched Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I've sat down to watch a movie with The Rock in it 11 times this year.
Wow.
Plus the Young Rock series that we watched as well.
Yep.
So if you want to be more technical about it, The Rock would take first place. Because he's the actor that I've spent more time with in films and TV over the year.
He's just about the highest paid performer in Hollywood, isn't he?
Yeah, something like that. So there you go. That is Letterboxd Wrapped. It's not yet. My most watched directors. Third place, 4 movies apiece, Clint Eastwood and Ron Howard. Second place with 5 movies apiece, Sam Liu and Justin Lin. Sam Liu did a bunch of those DC films, and Justin Lin did the Fast films.
Yep.
So he got that second place. First place, we've got Jay Oliver, who did a bunch of those DC movies. This is with 6 movies apiece. Jay Oliver and Zhang Yimou, who was the director of all those great Chinese movies with Gong Li that I was watching. So there you go. Now, for the last one, the last big Wrapped, the number of movies I watched this year. Now, last month was pretty much a write-off I didn't get much watched between the time that I arrived here and like kind of this month, and it was just more so about catching up on TV and sleep and all that. So last month, which was November, I think I only watched like maybe 20 movies, which is really bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
But this month I came back in style, watched a bunch of Christmas movies, etc., etc. Something like 40-something movies this month. In total, now, keep in mind there's still a couple of days left of the year. I'll probably watch maybe 1 or 2 more movies by the year's end. But as of right now, I watched 491 movies in 2021. And this does include rewatches, I believe. So maybe just add a couple more onto that, assuming I'm going to watch another couple of movies. It's like 491, 92, 93. 2022, I did 565 movies, so I didn't quite reach that, but I didn't get too far off it.
No, geez, that's a good effort.
If I'd got last month in properly, I would have been very, very close. I would have only been like maybe 20 shy.
Maybe, yeah.
And also, one thing that's thrown me off this year is that I've been doing a lot of cartoon news this year, and that's always like first thing in the morning, so I don't get that morning movie in. So that now that I'm here, and I'll be here for like another few months, the cartoon news stuff comes in the afternoon or later evening, early evening for me now. So it means every morning I should get a movie in. I'm also going to start binging my way through the DreamWorks movies. There's about 40 of those I need to watch so I can start ranking those movies. I've been putting that off for a year. So I feel like that's going to give me a nice little boost for the beginning of 2022, and hopefully we can beat that 565 record that was set in 2020.
God, that's a lot of time sitting on your ass doing nothing but watching.
I know, it really is. So 491, 492, 93 is the end game for 2021. There you go.
It's a hard life, isn't it?
I know, horrible life, man. Horrible. Now
awesome.
let's pick our favorite 3 movies of the year. I've told you to kind of just pick a few favorites, and I was going to try and guess them, but should we do that? We're running. Huh?
You wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't have thought.
Okay, let's just go through what our top 3 favorite movies are, since we're running a little bit late here.
All right. Do you want my top 3?
Yeah, you go ahead. Do your top 3.
Number 1 for me was Spider-Man.
Yep.
That was just magnificent. And this is going to be a surprise to you. Number 2 was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, yeah. Not a huge surprise, because it was a fantastic movie.
Really enjoyed that film.
Yeah.
And number 3 was a bit of a toss-up. And I've gone for this one because it was something a little bit different and fun, and it was Free Guy.
Yeah. I loved Free Guy.
You know, it was just a good, fun film. And it was really beautifully made and really well put together. And, of course, Ryan Reynolds is always good. You know, but there were heaps there that I could have thrown in at number 3. But I went with that because it was just a little bit different than anything else.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I really loved Free Guy. So my top 3, my number 1 is the same, Spider-Man.
Yep.
No Way Home. Loved it. Great film. Number 2, no
Shang-Chi?
surprise here. Huh?
Shang-Chi?
No, it just misses out because I did love Shang-Chi. But Spidey is the only Marvel movie that's made my top 3 this year. So Spider-Man, number 1. Number 2, really shouldn't be a surprise. It is, of course, Jungle Cruise.
Oh, yeah, I was going to guess that number 3 for you because you absolutely loved that.
I loved it 3 times. Yeah. I've watched it. I'll watch it again. Actually, I put it on a 4th time here and then fell asleep. So it sucks. My 3rd place might be a surprise. Was Last Night in Soho.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is that one we watched just before I left? Remember, with Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomas and Mackenzie. Loved that movie.
Yeah. No, that was a very good film. That was a really good film. I did enjoy that, but it just, I just felt there were better things. But yeah, the thing about that was that crossover in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The
crossover in modern and what 60s sort of feel about it and all that sort of stuff. Mm. That's what really appealed to me with that film.
I think what I loved most about that was the performances.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy and
fabulous.
Thomas, they were just so good in that.
Yeah, she was.
So that's just kind of got that over the edge. But yeah, I think very close to those would be Shang-Chi and because I looked at the list and Judas and the Black Messiah was one that I loved as well. I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
You got that on Blu-ray there now. Mum hasn't watched it yet, so you can watch it again.
Oh, hasn't she? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. TV shows, your favourite 3 TV shows of the year. I feel like number 1 is a given.
What's that?
The Beatles. Has to be.
Yeah, it's number 1.
Has to be the Beatles, yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
It's no surprise. Number 2, what do you reckon?
Yellowstone.
Yep, number 2 is Yellowstone. And what do you reckon number 3?
Oh, I don't know. Could be anything. I don't know.
It was a bit of a toss-up as well. There's been some really good stuff like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, The Shrink Next Door.
Yeah.
Even 9/11, the President's... Inside the President's War Room was really good.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye I really enjoyed. But for me, number 3 was Morning Wars.
Oh, yes.
I just thought that was a really good series.
Great
and
series.
The acting in that was just magnificent this season.
I did forget to put that to the list
Steve
because we finished
Carell
that.
was just incredible in that.
Yeah, really
season.
good. And Jennifer
Aniston
amazing.
just went to another level in that for me.
Yeah, so good. There wasn't much of Reese Witherspoon in that last season, but
no.
But what we saw of her was really good. But yeah, I love that show.
And also the guy that plays the boss. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Billy Crudup.
Yeah, he's just fabulous. He is
amazing.
really, I love him. But no, I found that a really good season. This season.
All right, for me, my top 3, number 1 has to be the Beatles.
Yep.
Such long-awaited content. Number 2 for me. What do you reckon? What do you reckon my number 2
Falcon
would be?
and the Winter Soldier?
No, not quite.
WandaVision?
Yeah, WandaVision. Number 2. And number 3 might be a surprise.
Oh, couldn't guess it.
Midnight Mass.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, loved it.
I just the only reason that didn't rate for me in top 3 or top 5, I reckon, is because I just think it was a bit long. They could have could have been a little more truncated, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it just went a bit too. They could have cut probably one episode out of that and truncated a bit more. And
well, I think at the time when we reviewed it, I said I think it probably could have worked as a film.
Yeah,
I think it could have worked as a movie. Yeah. As opposed to a 4-5 part event series or whatever it was.
Yeah. But his name? What's his name was great in that.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the guy, but yeah, terrific. Yeah, amazing. So, okay, let's get on to our next segment. Have you got the next sound effect queued up?
The next sound effect would be... Time to relax.
No. This is it.
For the last time.
Hey, you've ruined it.
Maybe for the last time.
Maybe for the last time. Well, I was going to do the big lead up. Right, here we go. When we left, we were up to season 5, episode 7, and we had 34 episodes left.
God, that was when you went over there.
When I went overseas. Yeah, we had 34 episodes to go, and at the rate that we've been watching these, like 2-3 a week, it was looking like it was going to take another few months to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
It's spoiled already, but I'll do a drum roll here. How many did we watch?
Hang on, is there a drum roll on the board?
No, there's none on the board. No.
Oh, bugger.
That's my drum roll. I'm doing a drum roll right now. How many did we watch? Go. Oh, this is disaster.
34.
Yes, we finished it.
Yes.
Have you got a sound effect of cheering and stuff on there? There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Cut it out. There you go. So we finished it. We finished Mad Men.
Yeah, it was great.
Record time.
Yeah. Yep, really good. It lived up to its reputation, I thought.
It really did, yeah. As one of the greatest series ever.
Yeah, top 10, wasn't it? It was in the top 10.
Because it was number one. It was listed as like the number one, whatever the thing we were looking at was. It was like the number one greatest TV show of the 21st century.
Yeah. No,
or 20th century.
It lived up to it. It lived up to it. Loved it. Every minute of it.
Yeah.
Loved it. But that poses the question, what's next?
Well, yeah. I don't know.
We've got to find another one now.
We're gonna have to find something. It's probably gonna have. We might have to double back to Justified, because that's the last sort of series that we just put off for years.
Yeah,
and it's the last one where we started multiple times and they never finished.
Yeah, that might. I hope it's not another Deadwood.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's about 5 seasons or something, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not very long. I mean, Deadwood was only 3 seasons, and that took us fucking 15 years to get
15 years.
Yeah, but
any ideas out there? What we should get into?
Let us know.
Throw out an idea what you think we should sort of start next. Old irrelevant TV shows, but we're thinking maybe Justified or something.
Yeah, that's the fun of it, isn't it? Just pull up an old show that's irrelevant, no one's talking about it anymore, and just talk about it. And
exactly right.
You guys enjoy our journey, whether that's the journey of just absolutely fucking hating our life and watching some shit program like Deadwood, or just loving life and breezing through Mad Men, which was just such a great show. And I'm hoping that the fact that we just loved Mad Men hasn't been boring for the listeners, because I know you loved our journey to Deadwood, which was just us in misery for a whole year. But this time around, we had
I'm
so
sure
much fun.
They loved hearing us enjoying ourselves.
I hope so.
Sure, they enjoyed us.
Next time round, we'll pick something in the new year. If you have any ideas, let us know. Write in to the podcast at daveleepod@gmail.com, or write down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, etc. And we'll pick something in the new year, and we'll start our new journey.
Yeah,
new
awesome.
TV show. Great. Do you want to use the Mad Men sound effect one last time?
No more relaxation.
No more relaxation. Before we get onto the last segment, let me just do a great little shout out to our partner highlights. Of course, Random Space Media, who have been putting together some really fantastic collections over the last year, over the last few years. They're doing these, of course, in partnership with studio distributors such as Universal, Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, and Disney. They've been absolutely kicking it out of the park over the last year, delivering really great sort of under-the-radar releases that not a whole lot of people knew about, stuff that wasn't normally going on general sale. But I'm finding that more and more of their releases are actually showing up on JB Hi-Fi now.
Oh, that's good.
So if you go to the JB website, a lot of their releases are actually showing up on JB, so it's not as hard to find their releases now. Of course, they got the new swanky website, and over this period that I've been working with them, we got a lot more sort of awareness of them. People are loving their stuff. They're doing really well, which is fantastic.
Yep.
They've got some really great upcoming releases. They are exclusively releasing the Sex and the City Complete Blu-ray box set. Shouldn't use the word exclusively, because you can get them through other avenues, but you can get that through them. They're releasing the Monty Python 3 film collection VHS case edition. So it's Meaning of Life, Life of Brian, and Holy Grail in like one of those VHS clamshell things. But it's Blu-ray.
Awesome. Big fan.
You've got a limited edition. You've got a collection of Dune and Children of Dune, the 2 mini-series versions. That's a collaboration with Umbrella Entertainment that they are putting out. M. Night Shyamalan box set they're putting out, which has got Unbreakable, Split, Glass, Signs, The Visit, and Old, which seems like it must be a collaboration between Universal and Disney, which is interesting. Also, they are releasing Hotel Transylvania 3 in 3D, which is awesome. So I believe that's the first time that movie's come out in 3D on our market, at least. So lots of great stuff coming out from Random Space Media. Of course, also kicks.com.au. You can use the code DAVE15 at checkout. Get 15% off your entire order. That is a code that should have expired back in April, but I realized that it was still active somehow. And then I spoke to them. They were like, yeah, we'll leave it running until the end of the year. So that's still active, but I spoke to my wonderful contact over there the other day, and she said to me, we've had so much fun working with you this last year. We'd love to continue working with you next year. We're going to leave this code active throughout the next year.
Oh, awesome.
So you can still head over to kicks.com.au and use Dave15 and get 15% off. And that's just going to continue into the
new year.
Into the new year and throughout next year and until they say, yep, we've had enough.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah, so take advantage of that. That's store-wide. It includes pre-orders, sale products. Some new releases from them include a fantastic Karate Kid 4K box set, which has got the first 3 Karate Kid movies. A Universal Classic Monsters collection in 4K. It's got Dracula, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and the Wolfman, or the original ones.
It'd be nice if they've got, what do you call it, rescans.
Well, yeah, they did the 4K rescans years ago, so all the Blu-ray
okay.
releases with the 4K scan. So now these are finally coming out in 4K, which is awesome. Candyman, they sent over, they've just released in 4K. They've sent that over. I've got to check it out and do a little review on that, or review it in the next Blu-ray haul. And they sent over a really cool little box set, didn't they, with a bunch of Candyman merch and candy and stuff. And some great 4K reissues of Mulholland Drive, The Outsiders, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, which is that great Final Fantasy animated film that came out years ago. So it's finally here.
Oh, that was beautifully animated back then. So
yeah, that was never even on Blu-ray. So that's finally hitting home media. So it's on 4K now.
Awesome.
All right, so that is it for the sponsor highlights. So I'll give them one final shout out for the year. Let's get on to one final segment of the show. Have you got the sound effect there?
Yes.
It is.
Or.
All right.
Good work. All right.
Well,
so
I thought I'd jump in there
right?
because there's just that slight delay we've got, so you'd miss the cue.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. We, of course, going to play our game, Shite or All Right. This is the game where we get people to send us in like really obscure titles from IMDb, and we have to decide based on the synopsis only. We will read 2 out to each other on the synopsis only. We have to decide whether the movie is
Shite.
Bit of a delay, or
All right.
This is where the delay really shows, isn't it?
Exactly.
I could tighten it up and edit it nice, but I can't be bothered. I don't have the time. It's New Year's. I'm on break, everybody. So anyway, we're going to do our last Shite or All Right for the year. We have got a letter has come in from Jeff B., our worker monkey, who's working hard away on the holidays.
Well, good on him.
No extra pay, might I add. I'm not giving him a bonus or any of that.
Nope.
But he's our little worker monkey. He's still going, and he sent us in the score sheet for this time round, and he's written a little letter, as he always has. Jeff says, and we are back. The shite you have been waiting for, and I'm just the monkey to throw it at you. First off, I hope everyone had or is having the happiest of holidays. If I could say one thing to all of you, it would be that everyone deserves a good day.
Oh, that's nice, Jeff.
That's very nice. Thank you,
It's very nice.
Jeff says, I hope this message finds you all well, and I mean you. Yes, you there. Sending positive thoughts and prayers to everyone in Australia and around the world. Dave, with you in the UK, I just can't help but be reminded of a certain television show. You know it, An Idiot Abroad.
So what's he saying, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know. What are you saying there, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
What are you inferring there? Jeff goes on to say, I couldn't think of a good transition between ridiculous and serious, so this is that transition. He says, on a serious note, I'm writing this on December 21st. Today would have been my late best friend's birthday. He took his own life 2 years ago, and he would have been 32 today. Jeff continues to say, please keep your loved ones close. Rest in peace, Philip Coldwell. Love you, bro. Bunch of hearts there as well. But then he continues to say, Dave, you are still a knob. A bunch of laughing faces. Yeah, he's about right there. He closes his letter off with, in the words of the late, great Phil, don't be a bitch. Cheers, everyone.
Awesome. No, we're sorry about your friend.
Yeah.
So, buddy, I've had a couple of friends take their lives as well, and it's a hard thing to go through. And if you in that sort of headspace, make sure you get help. Speak to somebody.
Exactly right. Yes. What's it called? Helpline in Australia.
Yeah. Don't go through these sorts of things. Don't go through these sorts of things by yourself. because
Yes.
there's always help.
Exactly right. And particularly this time of year is very hard for a lot of people too. So if you do need help, reach out to hotlines or to your friends
Or
and family.
to anybody, to your friends, your family, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever you need to reach out to.
So thanks so much for sending in your letter this week, Jeff. Phil sounded like a great bloke and is sorry to hear about that. Let's get on with the game. It is Shite All Right. Jeff has sent in the spreadsheet, the what do you call it? The score sheet. I'm currently winning by 1. I'm on 42. You are on 41.
Ooh.
So how are we going to close out this year? You are going to guess first. So I'm going to read you one, and then you're going to guess.
Okay, then.
Okay. It's Hogswatch, equivalent to Christmas, on the Discworld, and the Hogfather has gone missing, requiring Death to take his place while his granddaughter, Susan, endeavours to find out what has happened.
Sounds like tripe.
Yeah?
Sounds like crap.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Reckon
I'm
you're
going
going to lock that in as a
I'm going to
shite?
say I'm going to say that's shite. Straight off the bat.
That one is a...
All right.
It's an all right.
I stuffed that one up again, didn't I?
It's called Hogfather. I fucked it up. I read the title of the movie in the what do you call it? Description. It's got a 7.5.
Wow.
It's a 3 hour and 10 minute TV movie from 2006 called Hogfather. It doesn't really have... Oh, it's got David Jason in it. British actor from Only Fools and Horses.
Oh.
It's also got David Warner. It's got Michelle Dockery, Mark Warren. Quite a few well-known faces are in there. Tony Robinson is in there as well. So there you go. That's Hogfather. So you got one wrong.
Well, that sounded like shit to me, but anyway, what do I know?
All right, read one to me. Oh, that one was sent in to us from Lewis Glover, by the way. So thanks for sending that in, Lewis.
Cool. We've not had one from him before?
Yeah, I think a few, yeah.
Maybe.
I think we've had a couple from him, yeah.
I'm going to have to change some bit of this description here because it'll be too easy otherwise. A man and his loyal dog set out to discover the mystery behind the garden sabotage that plagues their village and threatens the annual giant vegetable growing contest.
Sounds familiar. I'm going to say it might be all right. I feel like it's some kids thing that might be like a cult thing. I'm going to say it's an all right.
So you're going to lock all right in?
Yeah, I'm locking it in. It is.
All right.
There you go.
7.4. The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
I thought it might have been that. I almost said that. Yeah, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I actually haven't watched it. That's the only Wallace and Gromit thing I've actually never watched, but there you go. Really? I had a feeling that was going to be it. Yeah, I've never watched it.
Oh.
That's the movie. It's the movie. I've only watched the shorts.
Yeah. I still feel that we've watched that one. But anyway, you'd know better. I can't remember.
Never watched the film. All right, I'm going to read you one. This is from our pal Devesh. Take a drink.
Oh, God.
All right.
That's the rule, of course. His name gets mentioned. We've got to take a drink.
Yep. Okay, I'm loading this one up. Okay. A group of New Yorkers caught up in their romantic sexual milieu converge at an underground salon infamous for its blend of art, music, politics, and carnality.
Oh, that sounds like shit. So, go again.
One more. Yep. A group of New Yorkers caught up in their romantic sexual milieu converge at an underground salon infamous for its blend of art, music, politics, and carnality.
Sounds a bit debaucherous. Oh, look, I'm going to take a punt and say it's all right. It's probably shit.
You're going to lock it in?
I'll say this is... Yeah, I'll lock that in.
This one is a...
All right.
Woohoo! You got it right. It's a 6.4. It's called Short Bus. A film from 2006. There you go. It stars
Sounded like shit, but
Suk-Yin Lee, Peter Stickles, PJ Boy, Paul Dawson, Lindsay Beamish, bunch of people I've never heard of in my life. The tagline for the film is "Voyeurism is participation," and it's rated 18.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Short bus.
Well. Anyway, your next one comes from Jeff B.
Jeff!
Yep. Okay, a group... Where are we?
Did you read out who your first one was from?
The first one was from Alan Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So this one's from Jeff B.
Yeah.
A group of misfit teens evade a corrupt scientist when they steal and attempt to return a suit that delivers supernatural strength to its wearer.
Oh, what is this?
A group of misfit teens evade a corrupt scientist when they steal and attempt to return a suit that delivers supernatural strength to its wearer.
Oh, it sounds familiar, but I don't know. I feel like it could be like another weird cult thing. I'm gonna take a gamble and say it's an all right. Yeah, it's an all.
So
I'm
you're
gonna
locking
say
that
it's
in?
an all right. Locking it in.
Shite.
Ah.
Okay, it's a film called Punks. Punks.
Yeah.
4.9. And it has... I don't even have... So they have a couple... The two first listed actors don't even have images on their IMDb page.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm looking at it.
But it also has Jessica Alba, Randy Quaid,
Right.
Henry Winkler,
Yeah.
and a few others.
Yeah, I think I know. I haven't seen it, but I know of this. Yeah, it looks dreadful.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well,
Awful.
I think we both got one right and one wrong each, so I feel like we're back to where we started at the beginning.
Exactly
So
right.
I'm still winning by one, I think, at the end of the year, and I'm happy with that. Not that there's an end game to this game. We just keep going
No, exactly
until we decide to stop.
So that was...
Shite.
Or...
All right.
For the last time
Very
this year.
good. Yeah. Look, we're going to round the show out. We're not going to do any news or anything this week because we just want to keep it light and fluffy and fun and exciting and under time. And since we're already over 2 hours, I think we should cap it off now. So if you can hit the theme song to round us out. There we go. Thank you all for listening. That is all the time we have today. The podcast, of course, goes out on all podcasting platforms every single Monday, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. Visual Element is also available on YouTube. That goes out 2 days earlier to Patreon supporters. So you can head over to patreon.com/DLDU and support me for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month. Very, very good.
Cheap.
Yep. Couldn't round out the year without one more cheap.
Cheap.
You can of course find me on YouTube over at Daily Down Under, over on Twitter, Instagram, etc. There's links in the description of every podcast. Also links for the podcast platforms. So you can just head there. It'd be great. If you want to write in at the show, you can shoot an email to davelypod@gmail.com. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, please leave a review and a rating.
Only good ones. Don't like the bad
Only
ones.
the good ones. Yeah, because they help. Hey, you can actually leave ratings on Spotify now. So if you want to head over to Spotify and leave some ratings, you can do that. YouTube preview. Last week I dropped my Spider-Man Evolution. It's doing very, very well. My ranking of Disney's 2021 movies went up this week as well. My ranking of all 60 Disney animated features also went up recently. And also my interviews for Sing 2 you can check out. I will have my Addams Family 2 interviews in a couple of days. You can check them out as well. Look, usually I would take a break over January, and one, I will be slowing down this year. I'll be getting more content up than usual. I'm going to have those Addams Family 2 interviews. I'm going to have a bunch of Cartoon Evolution voice evolutions that I fell behind on last year. That's stuff like Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, maybe. I don't think I'll do Addams Family, but I might do one for Spider-Man. We'll see how we go. I'm also going to get my 2021 animated films and Disney films preview videos up as well, probably towards the end of the month. Maybe a few small surprises along the way. No main evolution this month. I'm going to take it easy on the Evolution front, but they'll be back in early February with an Evolution for the Jetsons. They celebrate their 60th anniversary next year, so we're going to get them celebrated for 2022. Very excited about that one.
One of my favourite cartoons as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Loved it.
Podcast-wise, we're going to be off air for January. We're going to take another hiatus, even though I feel like we've just had a break. We're going to take another break. But I will be running best of episodes every single week. So, like the best of 2021. If you want to either catch up on episodes, catch up on the best bits you haven't heard, or you want to re-listen to all the best bits throughout the year, they'll be running for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So you can enjoy those. We will return to regular episodes on Monday the 7th of February. So the first Monday back in Feb, we'll have the regular episodes are back. We're lucky because we can take an extra week off because the last day of January is a Monday. So
right.
we get that extra
That's cool.
weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7th of Feb we'll be back. But for now though, that's it.
And don't forget to subscribe over on YouTube. On the
yeah.
podcast channel. We're almost hit 1,000. We're not far off 1,000 now, which is good.
Which is great. Look, happy holidays, everyone. We will see you next year. Take it easy. Have a very good New Year and whatever else you celebrate out there. Enjoy it, and we'll see you in the new year.
And we certainly hope everyone's had a great Christmas and New Year period. And stay safe. Stay at home where you can. And mask up and do all the safe things you need to do. Keep yourself and your family safe.
Thanks again to old mate Rick. With the pandemic and stuff is really, the pandemic and stuff's really rocketing at the moment. So just really take it easy as normal, but just take the precautions you got to take. Thanks to old mate Rick for co-hosting for the year and going into next year and for today and all that. All been great. And we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.